Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay, what is everyone saying? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. Welcome back, welcome back. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. Like always, guys, I'll go through the pairs I'm looking at and also pairs that you guys, are trading or looking to trade or want to share some analysis. Feel free to leave it down in the comments. Any questions, leave it down in the comments. If you haven't done already, make sure you join my Telegram channel. I do post my trades there, updates, watch list videos that I create. So feel free to go and check that out to stay in the loop. And also, if you are looking for a broker, I do have my affiliate link to IC Markets, which is a broker I'm currently using. Feel free to check it out using the link if you want to. But yeah, guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone's doing good. Anus, as always, welcome to the stream. Good morning. Moch, as always. Trusty Moch, always on the stream. Good morning, welcome back. Ojima, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome, finally waiting for your stream. We're glad to have you on. Any pairs you're looking at, just leave it down in the chat. We'll get to it. Mr. Legit, good morning, bro. What is up? Good to be here again. That's what I like to hear. Garang, what is up? Never fail. Dropping gems as always. Orion, welcome back. USD CAD buys, Seox, USD CAD buy or not? Okay, we'll take a look at USD CAD. USD CAD is one of the pairs on my watch list actually, so I am actually focusing on USD CAD quite a lot. I'm not looking to buy USD CAD yet. It's a little bit too early for the buys. It potentially could see a bounce from this resistance here. You know, as we can see, the market was rejecting this area here. This was our fake out, rejecting it yesterday, and now we're actually back again at the same level as support. So yeah, potentially we could see some upside for USD CAD, but it hasn't quite met my requirements yet to buy. I've been looking for this high to be taken out and a solid candle closure above breaking through. If you guys haven't seen my weekly analysis coming into the week, I was talking about USD CAD potentially taking out this high, you know, seeing a big drive to the upside, and then I'll look to catch the next higher low for a push to the upside after some nice retracement. So this is kind of like there's two kind of types of break and retest. You've got the break and retest where you've got a level like this, and say the market is rejecting that level a few times, like so. Then it quickly breaks through the level, then you got the retest, and then you got the continuation. Or you've got the second type of break and retest where the market is rejecting the level, breaks through, you know, starts a bit of a bullish trend, then pulls back, and then has the continuation. So you've got the break and retest, which happens straight away, which is kind of like what we've got right now. We've got like this tiny little break there. Now the market is retesting. Then you've got the bigger break, which actually forms some structure, maybe takes out some key highs like we're talking about here on the left, and then pulls back and has a much deeper retracement. We can bust out the Fibonacci and start mapping out some levels there. So these are the type of break and retest I focus on, not so much these. I haven't had much luck with these in the past, so I strictly focus on these type of break and retest where we actually see the market really follow through the level. And also these type of breakouts are very where they're much more trustworthy, because these type of fake outs, not breakouts, these type of breakouts are prone to fake outs because you're only breaking through the level with not much distance, a few pips like we did here. The market could easily roll back in to the downside and actually give us a fake out to the upside. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't normally focus on these type of break and retest, but these I do, which is why I said I'm looking for the market to take out that high, push through, break of structure, because again, we still do have this bearish trend here of lower, lower, lower high. The market is still technically trading within that structure and potentially could still sell off. So from a structural analysis, you know, point of view, I want price to break structure, which is this high here. I know the market has slightly wicked through, but that's not a break of structure in my books. I want to see a candle closure above. So if I can see that candle closure above, that'll break through structure, and then I'll look for my pullbacks, and then I'll whip out the Fibonacci, look for some confluence, and then I'll buy it to the upside. So the break and retest is still valid. It's still a break and retest. We have broken level, and now we are retesting it. But yeah, it's not really a setup that I would focus on personally. Not to say that it doesn't work, but I've had a lot more success when I wait for these type of break and retest rather than these. But obviously, you guys, you can do your own due diligence on that. So yeah, with USD CAD, buys are looking good. I was actually looking for sales coming into the week because we were holding the resistance initially. So I was looking to see if we can continue that bearish move to the downside. Obviously seeing really nice bearish structure here. It's very corrective. So I did say there's a chance we could break out to the upside because it's very corrective, and normally these corrective structures do not last. So I've been expecting to see that big move to the upside for USD CAD, which could be happening now. So yeah, coming into the week, was looking for some shorts. We didn't really get a price action to enter my trade. I was actually going to look to shorten this candle here, but we pulled back and formed that wick there. So I was waiting for another candle to confirm momentum, maybe some entry like this, but then we just had this huge candle breaking through. So didn't manage to get into a USD CAD short, and obviously, you know, it worked out quite well because the market did break through the level. Now I'm actually looking for the retest to go long. So I was hoping this candle could actually give us a closure above that wick. It failed, it pulled back down. Now we're retesting levels. So could be some buys here. Doesn't really match my criteria, but it could still give a successful trade. I'm still looking for us to take up those highs and get that break of structure in, because technically speaking, if you're looking at structure is still intact here for USD CAD to the downside. So it hasn't quite meet my requirement to go long yet, but it is a level of support, just not for me. So if I can get that break of structure through this point there, I'll look for my pullbacks. And I actually think, you know, if you do get that break of structure, you could actually be seeing USD CAD push back to these highs, because I've also noticed when I zoom out to the higher time frames, price, I did notice this on the weekend, but price is actually rejecting a pretty key trend line here As you can see, first test, second test, third test. So again, this could actually be the start of another swing to the upside, back to that resistance maybe. So there's some confluence leaning into the buys for USD CAD, but I want to see that break of structure first before I do get involved. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for USD CAD. I'll go through the rest of my pairs on my watch list as well. USD CHF, we'll take a look, no problem. Hello Ella, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. USD CHF again. Okay, I'll take a look at USD CHF gold. We'll take a look too. What's the chickens for? Is it Easter, son? AD CAD, okay, no problem. What are your requirements? Requirements is just in line with structure. You know, if there's bearish structure, I'm selling. If there's bullish structure, I'm buying. My kind of classification of structure is I use the wicks and candle closures. So this is for me bearish structure here. We've got a pullback. I mean, not pullback. We've got the move to the downside, pullback here, another move to the downside, creating new lows. And this potentially so far is still another pullback for another sell-off potentially. We haven't actually taken out these highs yet. So that it doesn't qualify as a break of structure in my books. Some people actually do look at break of structure with the wicks, because if you go down to the lower time frames, like maybe like 1 minute time frame, you actually do have a candle closure probably above this high. So some people use the wicks, but for me, wicks are not as trustworthy as candle closures. So I'm waiting for the break of structure before I look to go long, and then I'll buy it back up again. But yeah, it doesn't fit my requirements right now. Okay, I'll take a look at USD CHF, gold, and AUD CAD. So USD CHF was actually looking good for some shorts, but I've opted out for some shorts for a couple of reasons. It's very, very corrective. And again, like I've always been saying, corrective structures are not the best structures to trade. You want structures with momentum. They're normally the best structure to trade. You know, I've got pairs in my watch list which, you know, kind of show that quite well. So I'll go into that in a second. But yeah, USD CHF is a hell of a corrective move here to the downside. Again, structure like this doesn't normally last. We're expecting price to burst to the upside. It could melt down, but I would expect price to break to the upside and actually see some life, because all of this is just kind of consolidation. I know it's not doing it sideways, but it's kind of doing it at a slight angle. So expecting a big breakout for USD CHF eventually. Right now it's testing some key levels of resistance where some sellers will be lurking to push this one back down again. As you can see, back in some really nice resistance. We've got the trend line confluence there as well. First test there, second test there, third test. So there's some nice sell confluence here for moves to the downside. I wouldn't push it too far though. That's my only kind of criticism for the trade, because it's so corrective in terms of the whole structure. You might get a move like this, and then potentially price might just explode through the level, you know, coming back down to some of these areas here. So USD CHF sells do look good. I would say a push back down to 0.9600 looks like a good place to look, play some TPs at. Obviously, potentially some lows as well. Maybe you can leave the rest to continue back down to lows if price is going to get there. But because it's so corrective, I'll be a bit careful about pushing this trade too far. But in terms of selling and buying, you know, the sells here look pretty good. Buys, if you do break through structure, will look good as well afterwards to take it back up again. But for now, still sell buys, still trading within that structure. Really nice place to look to sell from up at that level around 0.928. But yeah, I wouldn't hold into that trade for too long, just because it's so corrective and there's a good chance the market will turn around. So yeah, that's kind of my verdict on USD CHF. Still within structure, still sells until we do break through it. Gold, AUD CAD, move on to USD JPY, pound yen. Of course, we'll take a look at Sergio, no problem. Anus, what's up? What do you think about counter trend trades when we are overextended? Counter trend trades can be very, very good opportunities. Also, I don't really trade quite a lot of that in my strategy, in my trading. Probably say about 95% of my trades are with the trend, with structure, and about 5% are counter trend. So there are some set requirements that I will look for counter trend moves. Like I was explaining on AUD CAD last week, if I quickly go over to that pair, which is over here. So yeah, I said I was going to look for a counter trend move with this one. It's not a counter trend anymore because we've actually broken through the structure here on the left. But I remember AUD CAD was trading around here. And I said if AUD CAD takes out these lows, then I'll look for a counter trend move and look for that next lower high. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So these are only the times I will look for counter trend moves, because we haven't broke through structure yet. but we've actually got a third lower high. So those are the only times I'll look for counter trend moves. And again, I'll look for price being very overextended or testing a very high, key level. For example, AUD CAD was coming up to this weekly area here on the left. So it's a very strong level, likely level. We'll see some type of reaction. So it's in a good place to do it. So yeah, if you're going to do counter trend moves, you want it to be in areas of value from a higher time frame perspective, and definitely you don't want to be trying to catch the first or the second lower high. Those are normally where you're going to lose money. The third lower high, sometimes they don't form, sometimes they do form, but they're much safer options, and you can still trade counter trend, but you've got a lot more protection against you because you've got first, second lower high. The market's at least showing some evidence that a potential bearish trend could form. We could see just an extended pullback and the market snaps bullish again. So, that could be the case, maybe like a big bull flag, but at least we can get some nice sells in with a much safer stop loss rather than catching the first high or the second high, which is much more risky. Obviously, first high is the riskiest, second high a little bit less risky, third even less risky. Best to do is wait for structure to break and then look for your lower highs, which is even less risky. But if you are going to trade counter trend, maybe the higher low is far down, and there's a good opportunity in a good place, really good higher time frame confluence, then sure, the sells could be good. I do take them as well, but 95% of my trades are within structure. But yeah, they can be good trades, but just pick your moments with them. You don't want to be taking 50-60% of your trades are counter trend moves. You want it to be majority trend based, or structure I should say. Okay, so I'll do AUD CAD whilst I'm here. So yeah, AUD CAD, I'm looking at some sells now. So we have broken through structure here. There's a lovely lower high. Again, NFP really dumped price to the downside across pretty much all pairs. Huge moves there, which is generating some nice trades this week and going to even next week as well, depending how long it takes for these guys to pull back. But I really like the break of structure here. Like I said, AUD CAD is trading at a very key level as well. Lovely engulfing candle there in the weekly. So I'm expecting to see some more downside for AUD CAD, potentially maybe a retest of this structure here. Lovely resistance here on the weekly, 1 and 2, support there as well. Could see the market trickle back down here. Maybe it might attack again to the upside, maybe it might collapse back down to these lows, but there's a good opportunity for us to come back down and retest 0.91. So that's kind of my thesis for AUD CAD in terms of direction. Now I'm just looking for some pullbacks, some lower highs to catch this move to the downside. So AUD CAD, I'm looking at a retest of this low here. This is the low we broke through for a lot of momentum, no retest of that. If the market does come up there again, there is a good chance we'll see a retest, a reaction. And again, obvious sells traded back down to lows. We probably get a decent risk reward. We don't necessarily have to push it down to the weekly level here at 0.91. We can probably get nice, depending on how you enter, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, maybe 1 to 5 even. Take your profit and move on to the next trade. So 0.93810 looks like a great place for some sells. Probably some really nice fib confluence there as well. Coming to the 50, well, between 0.5 and 0.618 there as well. So I really do like what price is doing over here for AUD CAD. So yeah, shorts, I'm definitely bearish bias for AUD CAD, looking for shorts. Want to see a bit more juice to the upside here. We potentially could sell off, prices back at resistance, back at supply. We might not get that pullback to those highs. The market might struggle here and collapse because this is quite a lot of bearish momentum. So yeah, 0.93, 100 could also be an area to consider. It's not the highest probability area. I'll definitely prefer a deeper pullback into 0.938 to retest those highs before looking to sell. But in terms of bias and direction, it does remain the same. Only looking for sales for AUD CAD. And overall kind of scope, we're looking for a push back down to these lows and then into 0.91. So we'll see how that one plays out. But yeah, preferably I would like a retest of that structure there. Okay, so I'll move on to gold because I did say I'll do that one first. Okay, so yeah, gold collapsed to the downside. Gold collapsed. I actually do prefer silver. Silver's on my watch list this week. I prefer silver to gold, and I'll explain why when I go through my watch list. But again, they're very similar pairs. They're most likely going to do the exact same thing. And just from a technical perspective, silver just looked a lot cleaner. But yeah, gold again shattered these lows, broke through these lows very aggressively. Huge downside move. Again, we had kind of the same pattern across the dollar pairs, big fake to the upside, getting people excited about the buys there, taking out some stop losses above that, maybe catching some people in some buys up there, then completely collapse to the downside, taking out stop losses below here as well. So now that we've kind of got that price action there, I do think we're probably going to see some type of correction and another continuation. Hopefully we can see a push back to 1900, because that's kind of where the sales will look the best, or even this brief consolidation over here will look very nice as well at 1910. So either one of these areas will be looking very, very nice for some sales. Obviously we'll have to wait for confirmation, and we'll judge that closer to when price is actually trading that trading near there. But yeah, in terms of bias and everything, shorts, this is a hell of a momentum to the downside. The market's been quite bullish, but it's been very, very corrective. So it's been keep pushing, slowly building up, and then it's coming to its last legs, and then we've had a big kind of relief there to the downside. So looking for some correction, then the continuation. Again, similar to AUD/CAD, price might not have enough steam to actually get to these areas to short. It might actually just consolidate a little bit here again, like it kind of did over here. Then it might just drop again to the downside. Sometimes the market's just far too bearish to have those extended pullbacks. Sometimes the market might just consolidate a little bit, maybe trap some buys in here for stop loss underneath, and then just go and run to the downside as well. So with gold, I'd only look for shorts for this setup. It's the structure is clearly bearish. We're clearly seeing a lot of momentum that we obviously want to follow. But yeah, the best places I can look for some shorts, 1900, 1910, up at these two places here. And targets, you can just be using like the lows here. These are good targets to have. 1940, 1930, maybe even this level here as well. These are good targets just to pinpoint and manage your trades from. But yeah, 1900, 1910 as well, consider shorting. Price, like I said, might just consolidate because it's a lot of momentum. I'm not too sure if gold will have the energy needed to come back up again. And then yeah, it might just fall there. But if we do come to these areas, I will be looking for some shorts. And again, I did say silver looks a little bit better. Reason silver's got a bit more protection. Silver's kind of giving us this lovely kind of rounded top. What's the name? Bowl shaped pattern, rounded top. I'm not too sure what the name is, but you can see the price making consistent higher highs as we're heading up. Then it starts making some equal highs. Now it's making some lower highs. And then this here was just a big fake out to the upside, taking people's stop losses above there, and we completely collapse the downside. So a retest of this structure here will be very, very nice for for silver, sorry. Again, very similar setup to silver. Keep saying the wrong pair. Very similar setup to gold. They're going to do the exact same thing 90% of the time. So if you're trading gold, you're pretty much trading silver and vice versa. But I just like the technicals here a lot more. So I'd rather trade silver to gold. But yeah, we're looking at the same thing here. Retest of this 23.13 level around about these parts 1.6. And then yeah, looking at some shorts here to the downside. Nice little low here. I'm personally looking at for silver at 21.6. So that's the plan for silver. That's the plan for gold. Looking for some more downside for all those pairs. I'll move on to some of the JPY pairs now. A few requests for that. USD JPY, pound yen, we'll take a look. US 30, okay, we'll take a look. Bohar, no problem. CAD yen buys look good. What's up, Johnny Rowe? CAD yen waiting for a pullback. Okay, we'll take a look. Rafael, what setups are you looking at the moment? Yeah, I'll go through the rest of the pairs, and I'll go through my watch list, my complete watch list shortly after. AUD CAD, pound USD. I'll take a look at pound USD as well. Euro AUD, no problem, Moy. AUD CAD buy or sell. I'm only looking at sells for AUD CAD at the moment. Okay, so USD JPY and pound yen. So yeah, USD JPY broke to the upside. We had a really big kind of gap for the yen pairs, which would be very, very painful for anyone shorting over the weekend. But a lovely time for anyone in some longs going into the weekend. It'll be a lovely surprise for a lot of people, and an ugly surprise for a lot of people as well. But yeah, so for USD-JPY, I said if we can take up these highs, I would actually like that structure. Now I should be considering some buys for this one, and I am considering buys for USD-JPY. I think the yen pairs slowly could be shaping up for some long opportunities. Some of them are quite there, some of them in some consolidation still. Some look like they could be good, which is USD/JPY, maybe another yen pair. I can't think of off the top of my head. But a lot of them are a little bit messy, but it looks like they could be breaking to the upside. So maybe we could get some nice shorts later in the week. I mean, some nice longs later in the week for them. But yeah, USD/JPY is finally broken out this corrective bearish channel here. You can see the consistent lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4 briefly there. And we broke to the upside for a lot of momentum, which is the key thing. We broke for a lot of momentum. It wasn't kind of a sluggish, half-hearted breakout. It was a lot of momentum here, which is a good sign. So I do think we can see some continuation in that direction. I have pinpointed this out as being a good level to target around 134. You can see really strong resistance over here, strong resistance over there as well. So these are definitely areas that you want to consider your TPs, or at least managing the trade at. This 134, 500 mark up there. So yeah, USD/JPY, you just want to see some correction now. We've had a really lovely impulse. There is a gap in the market here, which could act as support. The market could struggle here and start actually pushing to the upside. I'm not really a fan of buying gaps and that sort of stuff. It doesn't really happen that much in FX for me to really consider it, as a part of my strategy or anything. I'm always looking at levels. So I'll be looking at this area here. That's a lovely area of confluence. Pretty sure it lines up with probably the 50%. So yeah, pretty close to the 50% region there as well. And obviously we've got the breakout of the trend line there. So yeah, if you can see a nice healthy correction there for USD/JPY back down to 130,500. I do think buys, back to highs, which is around 132,750. But yeah, push to 134 looks good as well. So I do like the opportunities I'm seeing with USD/JPY. I would have to favor buys for this one. We do have a bit of a bullish trend here. We've got, the first low over there, the next high low. Potentially could look at the third high low over there potentially, and then see the continuation up to 134. So I do like this. I do like the structure here for USD/JPY. It does look good. Just need to see a correction back down to that area of value, which is around 130,500. You can get some nice confirmations there with some candlestick patterns. Push the upside. Back to the highs here look pretty good, and then maybe you can push it a little bit further. You've got the minus 0.27 extension level there. A little bit of confluence into that level there too. So yeah, buys are looking pretty good, but just want to see a bit more downside before you start looking to buy that pair. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Okay, so pound JPY looking pretty bearish there. Do we have some pound news? Let me go and double check quickly, because is it just me, or does the pound pairs look quite weak this morning? Because that was a hell of a 4H candle there. Maybe it's just pounds just slightly weak. Maybe there was no news. Yeah, there was some news, but it's low impact, so I highly doubt it was that. Yeah, maybe the pound's just weak for some reason. I would have no idea. But yeah, pound yen. Yeah, this one looks hella corrective. So this is what I mean, that some of the yen pairs look good for some buys. Some just don't. Some just don't look good for anything. Like here, pound yen, if I whip out a lovely little box there, you can see prices just ranging. This is price action that I like to stay away from, and just stay away from. Yeah, there's nothing here for me unless you like trading range bound markets and you've got a strategy around that, and that's what you look for. Then obviously this is something that you would be interested in. But as a person who likes to trade structure and momentum and trend, I don't have any of that here. If we start breaking to the upside or to the downside, that would definitely give me some momentum that I probably will like to follow, because now we've actually got some momentum and some good structure in a particular direction. But in here, we've got some equal highs up here, we've got some equal lows there. The market's undecided of which way it wants to go. Therefore, I'm not going to try and step in and try and guess where price is going. So like I always say, for markets that are range bound, if you are looking to trade them, look to buy low and sell high. There's normally the best things to do in these type of markets. There's obviously a key resistance up here. This is where you want to be focusing your sells, and down here is where you want to be focusing your long opportunities around the 156 mark. In here, this is all maximum indecision. So anything in this area here, you kind of don't really want to trade, just based on probability. Sure, you might find a good setup from now and then, but in here is just max indecision. So yeah, I wouldn't really want to find any setups there. I'm not saying you can't find a good trade there. Maybe you can, but I know for my personal trading, that's just a no trade zone for me. So yeah, pound yen shorts about 161 500 look okay, and obviously buys down here look okay as well. Anything in here doesn't quite do it for me for pound yen. Unsure about direction. If we break to the downside, then sure, we might have a bit of a bearish trend on our midst here, something like this, but only until then. So yeah, pound yen, nothing there for me, I'm afraid. CAD yen I'll take a look at. US 30 I'll take a look first. I'll move on to CAD yen as well. Then we'll go through some dollar pairs, pound USD, euro USD 2. Morning Joseph, what is up? Hope you're doing good. Kingdom Gold, hi from Ambazonia as always. Euro USD, we'll take a look. Oil, no problem. Gold, SPX, okay, sure thing, Anus, we'll take a look. So yeah, I'll take a look at CAD yen first, and then I'll go through those pairs, and I'll go through my my watch list for the week. So CAD yen, where are you? So yeah, CAD yen, this one's looking okay. I wouldn't quite favor the buys just yet. You know, we do still have, you know, a lovely bearish trend in our midst here. It's starting to shape up. The market could be looking to reverse. You know, we've got the consistent lower lows, one low here, another low there, another low here. Now potentially the market is creating some higher lows. So it looks like we could be seeing, you know, potentially that reversal there, but it's still too early to decipher if that is the case. The market is still a little bit bearish here. It looks like it's breaking out of this trend line here, and it hasn't cleared it by too much distance. Like I said, there's two types of breakouts. So the breakout where we break through slightly, then get the retest like this, and then the move. Or it's the breakout where we get the big moves here, and then we have a bigger retracement, and then we test the structures. You know, these are the breakouts I have much more success with, and I focus a lot more on those type of breakouts. They do work, of course, but you're a lot more, you know, exposed to fake outs here. So yeah, with CAD yen, for me, it's just a little bit too choppy right now to decipher what to do next. I wouldn't sell the pair because we're starting to break through the trend lines. We're starting to create some higher highs past these points here. So we're actually showing that the buys are starting to come in, but it hasn't really broken through some key structure, aka this high over there. And since it's above that area, breaking through the resistance, I don't want to sell it either. So personally for this one, I'll kind of just watch to see how things develop basically. If we start breaking through this high here with a lot of momentum, then yeah, I would be looking for buys 100%. If we do something like this, then yeah, 100% correction. I will be looking to follow that move to the upside. Targets there on the left, you know, some of those areas potentially we'll have to see later on. But yeah, CAD yen is still too early doors for me. We are retesting some structure. We could see some upside, but it's not high probability unless we take out 99,347. And then once we do that correction, I will happily follow that. If we come back inside this level, then that could actually be a good short, because this is potentially a big fake out there to the upside. We're back below key level, back below the trend line, back underneath bearish structure again. We might actually potentially sell off back down to these lows. So those shorts there do actually look pretty good. A retest under 97,949. We've got key resistance, fake out, back underneath again. Shorts below that do look okay. So yeah, I would actually favor the sells rather than breaking retest for the buys, but obviously we need to break back underneath first. But if we do go and break through those highs, then I'll just look for the longs there. So hopefully that made sense for CAD yen. You know, I'm interested in the shorts, but they have to be below there. I'm interested in the longs, but I want to see another impulse to the upside first before looking to go long. So yeah, hopefully that made sense for that one. But right now, it's indecisive whether price is going to break north or it's going to break back in again. I'm just going to wait for price to develop by itself, and then we'll probably find a much higher probability setup later down the road. Okay, so I'll take a look at pound USD and euro USD. Like I said, for AUD CAD, I do favor shorts for that one on some pullbacks. It's still a little bit too shallow for me to start shorting, but if I can pull back a little bit deeper, I will be looking for some shorts. Okay, so pound USD, another dollar pair. So yeah, pound actually ripped to the downside off back of NFP. I was supposed to do euro AUD as well. I will take a look at euro AUD too. So yeah, price dropped to the downside off crazy momentum there off the back of NFP. It looks like we could be printing a major double top pattern here for pound USD. If you go to the higher time frames, I think precisely the monthly time frame, as you can see here, if I do draw that level across, the market's having a hard time breaking through this level. Now, this monthly candle still has 21 days left before it closes, so it's still a little bit too early doors to decipher if we're actually rejecting the level or not. Last month, January, we did slightly close above the level, but we are seeing a lot of wicks here to the upside, so it's not a concrete candle closure, nothing that I would actually try and follow. And now we've come back straight underneath within the first kind of third of this month. So I want to see how this month closes. If it does close like that, it could mean that we are rejecting this level here, and we could actually see a lot more downside for pound USD, probably back into that level of support down there for the long term. If we take a look at the daily chart, it looks like the market is printing a pretty big double top pattern here. So with pound USD, that momentum is looking pretty good, looking to follow that. I did say some pullbacks to these areas would look the best for some shorts. Right now it's still a little bit quite far away, so I wouldn't be looking for anything just yet for pound USD. We've obviously got this key support low, which looks like the market is after to go and take out, or at least test. So pound USD shorts look good, but price is just a little bit corrected now, kind of forming a bit of a bearish descending channel here, which is a good sign actually for some pullbacks, because when the market does do this, normally do expect to see a push to the upside like this, which could give us our next lower high somewhere, hopefully up here, and then potentially we could roll over to the downside. So I do kind of like the structure here, but we do need to see a pullback. We could even just drop to the downside if price wants to as well. Nothing's 100% in these markets, but all I know of pound, off the back of that momentum, the fact that we failed to create new highs past this point here, the fact that we've broken out the consolidation with such momentum to the downside, does tell me that the shorts do look high probability. You just need to see some good pullbacks, and 1.22054 is where I'm looking for that. Even this level here, 1.23, I'm not too sure we'll get there, to be honest. If we do, I'll look for shorts on some confirmations. But yeah, 1.22 is where I'm kind of keen for some shorts for pound USD, and take that momentum to the downside and targets, logically we're looking at price coming to that prior low there at 1.185. So yeah, pound USD, expect more downsides. Anyone else focused on pound, looking to buy, sell this one? If you are looking to buy, I would be a little bit patient and wait for price to at least come test these lows here. Because if the market just falls to the downside, then we do have quite an overextended market. So we're likely to see some type of bounce from this level. So the buys could be looking fairly high probability down here. But yeah, I would much rather selling at 1.22. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for pound. Euro USD, I'm actually looking at some buys for this one. Again, if you haven't seen my analysis coming into the week, go check it out. It's my weekly analysis video, most recent video on my channel. I'm talking about some buys for Euro USD because we still do have a bullish trend on our midst here. We've got higher low 1, higher low 2, higher low 3, and potentially higher low 4. So I do still think there is some upside for Euro USD. Maybe not to go and test the highs and see another bullish swing. Bullish swing. I might not see something like that, new highs. We could do, of course, but because of this kind of climatic move we had to the upside here, big rush to the upside, taking out those highs, and then big move back down again, this looks to me that it could be the top of the trend. But structure, so I do expect to see some type of bounce coming into these areas for Euro USD. So I do think there could be some short-term buys. It's not the best opportunity in the world, which is why I'm focused on some other pairs. I did post my watch list coming into the week on my Telegram, so go and check that out if you haven't done already. But there's a few pairs that look a lot better than Euro USD. But obviously, structure, I've got to be systematic with my analysis. So I do favor some buys down here for Euro USD. I'm not really too keen to take them. There are better pairs out there for me. But if we do hold this area, you can probably at least see a retest of this low here. This is what gave us that big surge to the upside. I do think we can come back and retest that area there at least. So I do think there could be some short-term buys I wouldn't hold for the long term. Even the move to that is not too bad actually for Euro USD. You're still looking about 70, 80 pips there to the upside. So, it is definitely a move worthwhile if you can get a good stop loss in there. And then, maybe we might actually reverse. Oh, didn't mean that. Then we might actually reverse for Euro USD. But obviously, we need to break through this area first. So, Euro USD, I still do favor one more move to the upside. I think buys do look good. The market is definitely quite overextended here. We've had a big sell-off all the way up there to down here. I do think we'll like to see some retracement. We'll come into a lovely area of confluence here with the trend line, with the key level, broken resistance and support. Probably even come into a really nice fib level as well. If I do go about the old Fibonacci, you can see we've come into the 0.618 almost as well. Well, we're between 0.58, 0.5 and 0.618 at least. So I do think we're likely to see some type of bounce for Euro USD, at least a pullback. And obviously, we've mapped out this area here as a potential place where Euro USD might look to sell off later this week. So Euro USD buys look good. If you're focused on Euro USD sells, then what 1.08 is probably where you want to look at those sells from. And if you're looking at buys, this looks like a good level too. So keep an eye out for Euro USD. Could be some nice buys followed by some nice sells later in the week. Okay, so I'll move on to oil and gold and Euro AUD. Someone did request that. Yep, I will take a look at gold, Zan, no need to worry. Oil, we'll take a look too, no need to worry. Kingdom Go, we'll get to it. Swing traders. Swing traders. Yeah, because I was saying bullish and then swing, and then the sh from the bullish came into the swing. Yeah, that was funny. Okay, so is it oil next? Actually, no, I'll do Euro AUD first. Now moving to oil. Okay, so Euro AUD. This one had a really nice reaction to the downside. This setup actually I didn't actually notice this one. This was a setup that I was talking about last week. If you were in my streams, you would see me talking about Euro AUD. I was actually talking about selling this one coming to that resistance, but I just completely forgot all about this pair. Obviously, I do trade quite a lot of pairs. So I've been looking at some other pairs. I completely forgot about Euro AUD after the big move we had to the upside. So I didn't actually catch this move, but it would have been a very, very nice trade on this candle there. Lovely big rejection there on that hourly candle. Would have been a very nice trade there to the downside. But I only saw it this morning, obviously after we had the AUD news. So we kind of had a bit of a meltdown to the downside there for Euro AUD, and obviously some upside for AUD. But I completely forgot about the pair. So it would have been a nice trade start of the week. But again, I trade a bunch of pairs. So I'm not trying to catch every trade. Perfectly fine. I miss trades all the time. There's always a trade around the corner. But going forward for Euro AUD, it's still in a big kind of corrective area. So I'm not too sure how far we will go. I know the market's forming a little bit of a trend here. As you can see, first, second and third lower high there. But we are coming into some areas where buyers would be more than happy to look to push price up again. And also this is definitely a key level of support as well. There is kind of a big head and shoulder pattern at play, as we can see here. But we obviously need to snap through the neckline first. Let me draw that again. But we obviously do need to snap through the neckline first before we do need to snap through the neckline first before we actually get the head and shoulder pattern that plays. You can look to short at right shoulders and buy the right shoulders, but obviously a little bit more risky. And the fact that we haven't snapped the line, snap the neckline, means that the pattern is not really valid just yet. So once we break through this, we could expect to see a big reversal for Euro AUD. But at the moment in time, we're not quite there yet. So now price is in the support. We might see some upside here. It's not really a buy opportunity that I'll look to take personally. I would say some sells on the retest of this low do look good. We did break through that low with a lot of momentum there. So a retest of that structure there at 1.554 look good for some shorts on the retest of that, kind of like a big double top pattern. Retest that, could be a nice little short there back into the same area. And then potentially even back into the low here as well. So shorts on Euro AUD look good. It is a bit of a corrective structure, so I think the best trades will be after the neckline breaks, or maybe if we break to the upside past the resistance. So past this area here, we do see the market start breaking to the upside. I do think above that could be some nice buys as well. But I think the best trades is if we break for the neckline, because then we have a huge bearish trend on our midst here, which could just bleed to the downside for the next kind of month or two. So yeah, that's kind of my verdict for EURUD. If you're looking to short, get back to some shorts for this one. Keep an eye on that low there. But right now it's buyers territory. You can potentially buy it back up again into that level, but it's kind of against the flow of what the market's doing right now. So it's not really a trade that I would look to take. But the sells there could be worthwhile. Again, wait for confirmation. Don't get straight back in. But that's definitely a level I would consider a reaction from. Okay, so I'll take a look at oil next, and then gold. Where's oil? There we are. So yeah, oil bled to the downside. Oil bled to the downside off the back of NFP. You can see massive wick there to the upside, definitely taking out a lot of stop losses above here, and then the big follow through to the downside into this level of support. So oil, we have been favoring price to roll over the past few days, and we've had some nice moves to the downside. We're looking for price to come back down to these lows here at 71, which we just about missed. So I do think there's more downside to be had. We kind of wicked through this low here. So I do think we're having another pullback, and then potentially just another big rollover to the downside. So the areas that do stand out to me for oil is definitely this low over here, and definitely this high over here. So 76.65 and 78.18 are two great areas that I'll look to short. I'll consider shorts for oil, and obviously targets. First target would be back at the low there, and then the next target will be down there at 71.70. So yeah, oil, I'm definitely bearish on this one. Looking at the higher time frames, seeing consistent lower highs after lower high. The weekly, this is the weekly time frame. You can see the market still heading down. We've got key support here, which the market looks like it's due to go and test. We've got the daily time frame there, still making lower lows and lower highs, as we can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of equal highs there, 8. So the market is still struggling to break higher, and the sellers are still ever so slowly, because it's quite a corrective trend, still progressively moving price lower. So I do expect us to go and retest these lows here, and potentially go and test that weekly level around 64. All we just need to do is find a good place to short the market for that next lower high. So like I said, these two levels are a great place to consider shorting from. I'll say this is probably the best place there, and this is probably the next best place, but let the entry dictate where you get into the market. If you do see a good rejection around here, I still think this would be a very nice trade to the downside. But if it does break through, not to be alarmed, this level could be where the market wants to test before we do get the sell-off. But yeah, oil shorts look pretty good to me. Well, I'm seeing some nice bullish momentum now. I deem that just to be retracement until we sell off again next. And yeah, shorts back down to the lows, and then we got the big level down there at 64 for the weekly time frame there as well. Let me know what you guys are looking for on oil as well, if you're looking to short oil too. I'll go through gold, and I'll go through my watch list. Okay, so gold, like I said, I'm looking for shorts for this one, just looking at corrections to the upside. Again, I'm not too sure if we'll get it, because we've had this really aggressive sell-off here to the downside. So you can see the market's kind of forming a little bit of a range here, which tells me that price might do this, maybe for a couple days and then break to the downside. It would be nice for a retest of 1900 or 1910. Obviously, we've broken through structure there, so we are technically now bearish on gold. But these are the levels where the highest confluence lies. But we may not get it. We're not always going to get the trades that we want. Sometimes the market's going to be shallow in the pullback. Sometimes it's going to pull back even further than we expected. And sometimes we're just going to get the reversal, and we're going to be completely wrong in the first place. Which is obviously why we manage our risk, and we use positive risk to reward. So when we do lose, it's small, and when we win, it's much bigger. So yeah, gold, looking at shorts, it's consolidating right now. It could just collapse here, but 1900, 1910 as well, I'll be focused on for the shorts. And target wise, we'll obviously look at the low that it creates. If it does pull back from here, this would be logical, the first target back down to the low. But if you do want to push the trade a little bit further, you've got the low here, and you've also got a key level resistance over here as well, around 1820. So that could be a lovely little target to have too. But yeah, gold do have a bearish bias for that one. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, there's a few pairs I'm looking at coming into the week. The top 5 main pairs I'm looking at, if I quickly go to my profile, feel free to follow me on TradingView. I do have a link in my description. So yeah, go check it out. I do post my setups there for the week. So yeah, silver, like I said, looking for a pullback into that area there, and then I'll look to short back down again. I do prefer it to gold, but I'm not gonna be stubborn. If gold gives me a good entry and silver doesn't, I'll take gold, and vice versa. But I really do like the setup here for silver. Lovely bearish structure there, breaking out that consolidation with a lot of momentum, which is the key thing. It's not a half-hearted or a sluggish break. It's a break with a lot of momentum. So that's definitely a breakout that I would want to follow. Get a pullback into that level. More than happy to look for some sells and some confirmations. USD CAD, like I said, I was looking for some sells at the start of the week, but we failed to hold that level, and we have broken through. We haven't broken through that structure yet, so it hasn't quite met my criteria, but it's still above that level. It could potentially see a swing to 1.35, 118. So the USD CAD, I want to see a bit more upside first before I start considering long. Hasn't broken through the structure yet. If we did get this candle closure up there, breaking through that structure, I would start considering this long here. But the fact that we just gave a big wick to the upside is not a good, healthy sign for the longs there. So USD CAD is at support. If it holds it, I would favor another push back to 1.35, 118, but doesn't quite meet my criteria. So I'm not going to be looking at that trade just yet. Definitely a pair I'll still be looking at, but it's not at the top of my focus right now. NZD CAD is looking pretty good. I'm looking for sells for this one. I'll go into this one in a bit of detail when we go back to the charts, but I'm looking at some sells at the top here, 0.85, 500. If I can retest that level or that level there, I'm more than happy to sell this one. Lovely momentum breaking through the lows there. Just looking for some pullbacks to short to the downside. First target being that prior low, take it across, and also looking at a push into that low there, which is actually a weekly level around 0.83 that I do have my eyes on for quite some time. So NZD CAD shorts look good. Pound NZD, I was looking for the breakout to the upside for this one, didn't quite get it. We've actually had a really strong rejection from that level. Was not expecting that for pound NZD. We've had a lot of rejection in the weekly time frame, expecting us to break straight through and get the bias to the upside. Still could do that, but yeah, we're actually rejecting that level quite well. So pound NZD might head back down to the lows here to test the low of the trend line. We'll see how things shape up, but I'm only focused on the longs this week for pound NZD. So I need a lot of bullish momentum to come back in the charts before I consider buying pound NZD. And Euro NZD, which has actually come to my level of interest, I'm looking for some longs for this one, today. So hopefully I can actually get a long on Euro NZD, maybe today or maybe tomorrow. 2 areas of interest. It's trading just breaking through the first level. So I'm going to see if it pulls back up above that level. We're going to see in a second how it's shaping up. But yeah, if it can pull back above that level, I'll start considering looking to go long. If not, come a little bit deeper. In fact, this is the level that I actually prefer price to come and test. A little bit more confluence down here. Looking for that next higher low. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for the 5th one. And the buys to the upside. And as you can see, price is consistently making higher highs. So the buys do look good here for UNZD at 1.685, 688. This level here. And then, yeah, looking to go long for another move to the upside as well. So those are the main pairs I'm looking at. There are a few pairs also that do look good, which I'll talk about as well. NZD-CHF shorts do look pretty good. AUD shorts look pretty good as well. Yen pairs potentially could develop later on. But yeah, those are probably the main pairs I'm looking at. Yeah. So yeah, UNZD is at the top of my watch list right now for some longs. So this was my first level I was looking to buy from. It actually broke through. So if it does come back down and test this level, I'll look for some longs unless it closes straight back above. If it closes straight back above, I'll still look to buy the pair. But obviously I need it to close back above. This candle here is about to close in the next 3 minutes right now. So I doubt we'll probably see a push above this level. If it did push above the level, I would actually enter that trade with a stop loss underneath, looking for a move to the upside. But yeah, in 3 minutes, 2 minutes 59 seconds, I'm not too sure we will. So yeah, if USD decides it wants to come down a little bit further and test this level here at 1.686, then I'll be more than happy to long it from down there. Better risk reward anyway, and we do have a bit more confidence down there too. And then yeah, I'll look to buy it, and yeah, target back to those highs over there. Keep it very, very simple. So yeah, USD looking at some longs, so hopefully maybe get a set up late today if it closes above, or if it comes a little bit deeper, we'll still look for some buys there as well. Okay, so SPX, we'll take a look at that ANIS. US 30, I forgot to use 30, didn't I? My bad. I'll take a look at US 30 because you did literally request that like at the start of the stream. I'll take a look at that first. Dances with Wolves, what is up? Hope you're doing good. Pound AUD top 10, no problem. We'll take a look. I really like your channel, it's great. Lots of times they ask you for same pair 2 times in the same session. Why not watch the recording and move forward all the pairs on your watch list? Great job. Yeah, I could do that, but sometimes it's just easier to do it where I'm at, because sometimes I'm also looking at the same pair as well, and there are always people coming in and out of the stream too. So, you know, this says 98 people are watching the stream, but you know, you could lose 10 people, 20 people, and another 10 or 20 people could join as well. So it's not always the same people on the stream. But yeah, I mean, if I'm getting a lot of requests for a lot of pairs, then I probably would just do it once and then move on to the next one. But if I'm not getting a lot of requests for different pairs, then I would happily do it again. Okay, so I'll do US 30 first because Bohar did request that quite a while ago. And I'll do ANIS, and then I'll do Pound AUD. I believe I did oil, so yeah, I'll do Pound AUD as well. Euro JPY, sure thing, we'll take a look. Zan, I'll do use JPY, no problem. If price is in your point of interest, why do you want to see, what do you want to see for your entry? Oh, just candlestick pattern. I want to see a nice bullish engulfing. Again, bullish engulfings are my most traded candlestick pattern. There are others like shooting stars and hanging mans, but engulfing candle works brilliantly. So that's the one I focus on the most. I've got hiccups. That's the one I focus on the most. And yeah, probably say 90%, 95% of my entry patterns that I enter the trade on are always going to be engulfing candles. So yeah, when price reaches my entry, I'm looking for engulfing candles, a shift in momentum. Again, not just any engulfing candle as well. It has to be a meaningful engulfing candle to show a shift in momentum. And then yeah, that's where I look to enter my trade from. Okay, so let me get US 30. So US 30 is still looking like nonsense to me personally. This is it's a market that is still kind of shaping up for a breakout, you know, upside or downside. As we can see, it's kind of giving us this wedge pattern here. And like I've said, you know, a bunch of times, you know, I'm not really interested in patterns like this, where it's kind of like a consolidation pattern, you know, wedge, consolidation, sideways. That's not really something that I look to trade. And this tells me that the market is getting ready for a breakout. It's getting ready for a breakout, upside or downside. That's completely up to US 30. Now, as traders, we're not really too bothered either, because we can look to buy and sell and still profit both ways. If you're an investor, then yeah, you probably would be anxious of which way it could break out to. Traders, it literally doesn't matter. So yeah, US 30, I'm kind of waiting for us to break out to the downside. We're still holding to the resistance, so I do favor sells for the breakout, but obviously we need to break through structure first, which is this prior low. Start breaking through that, then yeah, shorts look pretty good on that next pullback, and I'll expect price to come back down to these lows. But until we do something like that, we're kind of still stuck in the range here, and anything can happen, really. Anything can happen. So like I said last week, your best bet is to look to sell high and buy low. So last week we were coming into this resistance here. I said, you know, coming into that level, the best thing to do is looking for some sells. Coming into that resistance, you know, we had a lot of wick rejections. I remember this was the The interest rates from dollar, big spike to the upside, pull back underneath, rejecting into that level. A few more bunch of wicks there. So the sales were looking okay. And now we're coming back into some areas here where we can start to consider looking to buy the pair again. So if you do see another push to the downside into this low, I do think the buys will look good here to the upside around 33,400. I'm not really a fan of what price is doing there for US30. Trying to look to buy this or sell this is a little bit risky, and there's no kind of, trend that we're following or momentum that we're following here. So with US30, there will be a lot of noise in here, a lot of people stop losses above here, and I do think either the sellers or the buyers will be getting taken out pretty soon. We see a big strong move back down or a big strong move back up, taking out a lot of stop losses here. So my biggest kind of advice would be, don't trade in here. This is where the most manipulation, the most fake outs will happen. This is probably where you want to focus, because if price does break through that, it's probably actually going to have a reversal. Whereas here you can have a quick fake out, a quick wick, and the price will still move in your direction. So yeah, keep an eye on 33,400. I do like the support level here. If I do whip it across, it is a pretty key level there. Support, resistance, support. If it gets there again and we see some more rejection, most likely it's going to be support there too. So 33,400 makes a lot of sense for some longs. Again, wait for some candlestick patterns, 4H hourly. Probably wouldn't go lower than that. Maybe 30-minute. And then, buys back to the upside, maybe back to resistance. And that's a decent little trade to have. But I don't really trade inside these type of corrective structures. They're way too messy for me, and there's no clear trend for me to follow. Okay, so I'll take a look at SPX, pound AUD. Go through some of the yen pairs, USD, Euro, XNG, USD, we'll take a look. Excuse me, entity chef. Okay, a bunch of pairs we'll take a look at, no problem. Entity chef. Okay, in the USD, nice. I'm looking to get into the USD as well, so I haven't got a confirmation just yet, but when I do, I will post it in the Telegram. And let you guys know when I do get into the trade, or if I do get into the trades. I might not get an entry, but if I do, I will let you guys know. So hopefully you can get an entry pretty soon. The hourly candle has closed a few minutes ago. It didn't close above that level. So USD, if we can get back above that level, that will warrant me getting into the trade. Something like this, and I'll be looking for the buys. If not, and it comes back down again, because it is actually breaking through that level. So if it does hold this through resistance, it might come back to my second level. Then I'll look for some longs down here. So I'll let you guys know if I do get into a position with this one. But we'll move on to SPX requested by Anus. So with this one, we're just looking for pullbacks. Actually, let me go into this one. So with this one, we're actually looking for pullbacks, because the structure here is so much more clearer. It's so much more clearer than like US30, which is what I've been talking about for the past couple of weeks now. US30 is almost a myth here. US 500, there's a clear upside move here. Very, very clear to the upside. So we know exactly, not necessarily where price is going, because we never know where price is going, but we just have a clear structure and a clear trend to follow. There's something to follow here. US 30, what are you following? I have no idea. So US 500 looks good. This looks like a great little level there, because price right now is consolidating here, and there will be some stop losses above here and below there. So if you get a nice little push to the downside, test that level there, which probably will line up with this trend line here too. So we've got first test, almost a second test there, third test, fourth test coming into that level there, probably some nice fib confluence, maybe the 0.618. So you can see it lines up with with the 0.618. So that would be a really good place to look to buy the pair up again. And then see some upside and obvious targets. We'll just push it back to highs. I wouldn't look for anything too crazy with this one. It is a bullish trend. We have taken out these highs here. It might want to have a deeper retracement. So I wouldn't be too greedy with the buys here, but we do have pretty clear structure with clear momentum as well. So the buys do look pretty good here for S&P. So yeah, I would say just get ready for some pullbacks for this one. It's consolidating right now, so it's a little bit difficult to buy in here. I would say if we don't get this move to the downside and we do break through that, then there could be a nice little retest into those highs there as well. So maybe like the 15 minute, there could be a nice buy on the retest of the breakout. But yeah, this is kind of the number one area which I would like to see price push into. Most confluence there, better risk to rewards, and also a really nice level to long from. You had this consolidation, big breakout to the upside. You know, haven't retested this area. This will be a lovely area to buy back from. So yeah, S&P looks good for some buys. You know, there's two kind of trade ideas we've got here. This one's definitely the better one, but we might not see price break to the downside first. It might break to the upside, so the retest of the high might actually be the only opportunity we can find, really. And if it's a good breakout, good momentum, you know, you can look to follow that. And obviously, push back to highs would be the obvious target to have for the trade. So I hope that made sense. Again, SP looks a lot cleaner. US 30, a little bit of a myth right now. Okay. So yeah, I'll take a look at some dollar pairs, not dollar pairs, sorry. I'll take a look at some JPY pairs. First, I'll go for pound AUD first. Then move on to entity chef, which is another pair on my watch list, which I'll go into in a bit of detail. USD we already looked at. Pound NZD I'll take a look as well. Why not short pound NZD right there? Thank you so much, Faith, for subscribing. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the channel, please be sure to subscribe. It does really help out the channel. If you are enjoying the content, please do subscribe, just like Faith did there. Lovely example. But yeah, I didn't short pound NZD because price was in this very corrective channel, and I was expecting price to actually reverse this week, and I still am. We've got all of these wick rejections here from this support level here on the weekly, so I don't really want to be looking for some shorts anymore for pound NZD. You can see all this wick rejection here. This is telling me that price is trying to go lower, but it keeps failing. So I'm actually expecting to see a big move to the upside, and I'm looking to take advantage of that reversal. So even though it was a decent short opportunity, you know, coming to a lovely trendline area with that resistance, I was actually looking for the breakout there to the upside, to the resistance above there. So that's why I didn't short it, because I was favoring price to break to the upside. Again, price just didn't break through and it rejected the level, but that's just not my plan that I was looking to trade this week. I was looking for a push to that resistance and a breakthrough. Didn't get it. Could have looked to short it instead, but if that trade failed, I would be annoyed myself, because I was looking for some longs and I'm taking some shorts and then losing that trade. So just an unnecessary trade to take a loss on. You know, I'd rather just take the longs and take a loss on the longs. At least I plan to take that trade. So yeah, that's why I didn't long the pair, because of the weekly time frame showing me some signs of reversal. This is a very, very choppy trend, so I do expect it to reverse pretty soon. Of course, I could be wrong. The trend could continue, it could plummet to the downside, but I'm not here to always get it spot on. Obviously, in hindsight, it might be best just to look to short and then wait for the breakout. But yeah, that's what the price has done here. So with pound NZD, it's still showing a lot of rejection on the weekly. I'll be waiting to see if we can break to the upside. It might not do that now. It might come straight back down. But yeah, there's nothing more there for me. There's other pairs I'm looking at, like USD longs, that do look good. So hopefully I can get an entry on that one. But yeah, pound NZD, I was looking at longs. I wasn't really interested in the shorts, so that's why I didn't take them. Okay, so pound AUD, where is that? So yeah, pound AUD, that was some nice downside that we had. Obviously, AUD was quite strong last night, because of the interest rate decision that happened. So Aussie gained strength, and obviously pairs like pound AUD, Euro AUD would have been taking a hit to the downside off that. And we do have some really nice bearish structure here that I've noticed for pound AUD. We've got the high over there, as we can see, lovely lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and looking for price to go and take out those lows for another lower low. So pound AUD is looking pretty bearish still. Shorts do look good. You know, shorts do look good for this one. You know, price kind of coming into this area, lovely wick rejection into that resistance there. So I do expect pound AUD to push past these lows. I've been looking for pound AUD to hit 1.72. It hasn't quite hit 1.72 just yet. You know, I did post some analysis previous to this one, last week. I didn't actually get the short I wanted last week. Very, very annoying. Came like, a few pips away from my level of interest. Whereas pound AUD, there it is. So it came a few pips away from my level of interest, as you can see. Nice spike. It just missed it by like 3 or 4 pips there into that level. Would have been a really nice short, and then my target was 1.72. And looks like it's just had one more pullback, and then it could be looking to go and hit that 1.72 level. I do think pound AUD could go further as well. I'm looking at 1.7 as well, a very, very big psychological level, which kind of holds this the consolidation down the left where we rip to the upside. So I do think pound AUD could be looking to go and smash into that and go and test that level there too. So yeah, pound AUD for me, I'm still sell biased with this one. The structure is still bearish, still seeing low lows and low highs, and we're actually seeing some good momentum as well. So any pullbacks for this one, into some resistance, back into some highs, do look good for some entries. Obviously wait for confirmation to enter the trade, but yeah, shorts do look good, and targets back down to the low, short 1.72 and short 1.7, but you want to be taking your profit at these lows here just in case we do something like this. That 1.7 level is a target I have from the higher time frames. We might not hit it, we could hit it, we could have several pullbacks before we do hit it. So never try and be too greedy with your profits. It's always better to take the profits than rather leave it on the table. Obviously you don't take your profits too early. There's a balance, but yeah, you do want to be at least managing the trades coming back into these lows there. So yeah, that's my outlook on pound AUD. I'll move on to NZCHF now, or XNGUSD. What is that? XNGUSD. Okay, natural gas. Okay, so yeah, I'll do this one first, and then I'll move on to pound AUD, and I'll go to the JPY pairs next as well. Hi Jezreel, what is up? I mean UNZD. Oh, UNZD. Why didn't take a trade? I didn't have any confirmations to take the trade. UNZD. I didn't get any confirmations to take the trade. If I go back onto the hourly time frame, you can see, here this was the Asian session, so that's like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm asleep at that time. But from 7 a.m. London time, 7 a.m. UK time to 5 p.m. UK time, that's kind of my window for trading, which kind of takes into account start of London all the way up to sort of coming to the end of New York session. So yeah, so 7 a.m. is when I start looking at the charts, and since then price was breaking to the downside and haven't got an entry candle since then. So if I can see a nice push to the upside back above, then I'll look to enter. If not, it comes back down and I'll enter down here. But yeah, UNSD longs do look good, but this candle here happens at Asian session. The Asian session typically has the least successful entries for my trading strategy. Now back tested through Asian session as well, and yeah, the results are definitely much worse than London, New York. My best entries are normally during London, and second best during New York as well. So yeah, I don't enter Asian session, number one because the entries are not that good, and number two because I'm asleep. So I'm not the chart to take it in the first place. But yeah, there's no entry signal there for me. There could be one within the next hour if it closes back above, so I could be looking to enter the trade in the next hour potentially, or I'll look for a push down here. Okay, so let me go back to natural gas. I mean, I've got it down here to be fair. Okay, so yeah, for this one, we've had a crazy move to the downside. I was expecting this to pull back, but it's just been absolutely melting to the downside, wiping out kilo after kilo. So with this one, I do expect to see a pullback soon. We're coming into some key areas of support here. As we can see, 2.45, as we can see, a lot of support here. And the market is definitely overextended. You've had this crazy down move since that high over there with minimal pullback. So I do think buyers will be looking good, but you have to be careful because there will be a lot of people trying to buy this and call it reversal because they obviously have the same idea as me. Market's quite overextended, it's coming to some key areas of support. and they would be having their stop losses just underneath here, getting wiped out there, 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 wiped out. Kind of completing that pattern. Thank you so much, Raoul, for subscribing. So yeah, you don't want to be trying to call the reversal. Like I said, counter trend moves can be really good trades. An example like natural gas right now, which is definitely very overextended and coming to a key level of support. You can probably find some really nice counter trade opportunities here, but you want to be careful and make sure you're getting it at the right time, which is minimizing your risk, but at the same time, still taking advantage of that counter trend move. And yeah, looking to buy the reversal just because you think it's extended is never a good idea to do. I've done that many times before, and yeah, it's very, very frustrating. So what I'd be looking for for natural gas is some type of signal that the market starting to create some higher lows. So once I see the market, give me a nice impulsive move, because we're still yet to see any bullish impulsive momentum. Since we had this move here, the market has been very, very corrective, slight impulsive move there, but came straight back down again. So I want to see an impulsive move followed by a correction, followed by another impulse. That would tell me that, okay, not only have we seen an impulsive move, but it's actually been sustained. It's not like a impulsive move to the upside and the market just comes straight back down again. That's not a good sign. You want to see a impulse, correction, another impulse. That shows us that, okay, yes, the buyers are here and they're potentially here to stay as well. So once we see that, any correction we can get back to that sort of area would be a nice little buy. Again, it might not go crazy far. It might just be something like this and then eventually comes back down again. But this still here will be a nice little counter trade buy. Then maybe you might come to some areas where it could be some nice sells, to take it back down again potentially as well. So yeah, don't marry the buys as well. Even if we do get that strong impulse, correction impulse, there could still be some nice buy in the retest of the level. But the market is still very, very bearish. And most likely, if we do see a move to the upside, it'll probably form a major lower high to come back down again. So we are just trading the counter trend move, but there could be some sells probably a lot better after that move happens. So yeah, natural gas, I wouldn't look to set it right now. It's like key support. It's kind of consolidating a little bit. It's running out momentum. So I would be fixated on that kind of counter trend move. But like I said, I want to see that impulsive push, correction, and then we can start following that momentum. But yeah, right now it's just the sellers are in control, and we're still seeing lower lows, lower highs. So we need to be patient for that. Okay, so we'll take a look at NZT-HF next. NZT-HF, we'll take a look at pound USD. We'll go through as well. AUSD, we'll take a look. I don't think we have actually looked at AUSD yet. Dodger usual, we'll take a look. Thunder 333. Do you look for double tops / bottoms for short and long entries, or wait for further confirmation, e.g. structure break? Yes, I do look for double tops and double bottoms. They can be very, very powerful patterns. But yeah, I have to use it at my areas of interest. So I don't just look for them willy-nilly just because I see a double top. I'm looking to sell. It needs to be within structure. It needs to be an area of confluence as well. I mean, EUR/AUD gave a really nice double top pattern, which worked a treat yesterday. As you can see here, lovely double top. Test it once, test it two, big drop to the downside. So the double top and double bottom patterns work very, very well, but you have to use them with confluence because, again, a lot of people will be using this pattern just anywhere they see it. But Wayne Brown, thank you so much for subscribing. But when you use it with area of confluence at good places in line with structure, they can become very, very good, powerful patterns. So yeah, 100% double tops, double bottoms can give really nice entry signals. But my strongest tip would be use it in an area of confluence. You don't want to be just using it anywhere you see. Okay, so NZT-HF, yeah, like I said for NZD-CAD, which I'll go through in a second as well. NZT-HF is also a really nice pair that is very similar now. Oh no, NZT-HF, don't sell off. It's starting to look a little bit bearish now. I was looking for NZT-HF to come back to this level of support. It might not do that. Okay, so yeah, NZT-HF, I'm looking at sells here for a move back down to this support level. We had a really nice sell-off during NFP here, so a really big move there to the downside, wiping through those lows. and now I'm looking for a push into that level there to sell off again to the downside. But we've had a spike to the upside, and it looks like price might not just have the juice needed to go and test that level, which is very, very disappointing to see, because sometimes, just like pound AD last week, came very, very close to my level of interest, which was this high over here. You can see just spiked very, very close, and it flipped to the downside. And looks like NCHF might be doing that again to me as well, which is unfortunate. It could still come up. It could be a bit more of a corrective move, so we could see a downside move there, and then maybe another move back up again. So it could give us a bit more of a corrective move like so, and then the sell-off. But we'll have to see. But yeah, so yeah, that's the level I'm looking to short from for NCHF. We've had a really strong move to the downside, followed by consolidation and another strong move to the downside. So I'm looking for us to get into that level, then sell off again. We had a bit of a bullish trend on our midst here, but it didn't last. Now I'm looking for us to get the reversal here to the downside and a really nice sell off. Maybe even potentially back into this low here as well. Could be a nice little target to have. But I do favor more downside for NZCHF. We do have a lovely little bearish trend here. Low, lower high, low, lower high, low. Looking for lower high, retest that structure, then sell off. But yeah, we'll just have to see if I get that test or not. If I don't get the test, then I'll just back away, because I do think I'll probably get an entry on Euro NZD, which is another NZD pair. So I'm not too upset if I don't get the NZCHF entry I'm after, because if I do get into Euro NZD, I'm still kind of trading the NZD currency. So it's kind of the same thing really. Obviously Euro and CHF a little bit different, but yeah, I'm still in that kind of NZD currency. So yeah, so NZCHF looking at sales, NZD CAD looking at a very similar opportunity there too. So NZD CAD again, hopefully NZD CAD can come up again, test that level, or even this level here. These are my kind of two levels of interest that I have. But yeah, NZD CAD was kind of a very slow kind of reversal. We had a move to the upside, very strong impulse. Market was struggling to continue higher. Had the first push, second push, third, fourth, fifth push. Market really failed to go bullish, and then it absolutely dropped off the back of NFP, wiping out these lows and these lows here as well. So I do want to see a correction, next lower high for the sell-off. I do expect us to wipe through these lows here on the left. And I also do expect to see 0.83 more or less get hit, which is this level here as well. Lovely retest of that structure, had a really impulsive move. I do think we can come back correct into this level. You might potentially reverse, or we could potentially fall back over again. If we do zoom out, we can see we're still in a pretty bearish structure here. Ooh, we're still in a very pretty bearish structure here if you zoom out and look at the larger picture. So we could see the market potentially roll over again, but again, that's still very long term. More focused on a push to this level, support resistance for NZD CAD. So yeah, I just want to see a pullback for this one. There's a similar opportunity to NZCHF as well. They're both obviously NZD pairs. Just looking for a pullback into a area of value, which is that price support we broke through last week for both of them pretty much. And CHF broke through that one last week, and NZCAD broke through that one last week as well. And then I'll look for my entries. But yeah, like I said, we might not get the pullbacks. Price might just be too bearish, because we did see a lot of momentum last week. So that was my kind of only worry about NFP. NFP did produce a lot of good setups, gold, some of the dollar pairs, AUSD, which I'll take a look in a second, USD CAD, NZD CAD, NZCHF. A lot of pairs are looking pretty good after NFP, but sometimes when you get such an impulsive move, sometimes you don't see the pullbacks you want to see. Sometimes they're very shallow, sometimes they're very corrective, and the market just kind of continues without a good pullback. So people in the lower time frames might be able to catch some of these moves, but for me on the 4H, I want to see a bigger pullbacks, which don't always happen all the time. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking at for NZD CAD, sorry. And yeah, hopefully you can get an entry sometime this week and get some sells into the downside, and NZCHF looking at something very, very similar there too, at 0.58821. 0.5821. It's reading the wrong numbers there. So yeah, these are the setups I'm looking for. Hopefully we can get some entries, but it's up to the market. Okay, so pound entity, we'll look at you next, and pound USD as well. Jezreel, what is up? Hope you're good. Moch, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Definitely the best stream. Much appreciated, Moch. AUSD we'll take a look after as well. Hope you have a trade for this week. I'm waiting. Yeah, I mean, I hopefully can get a trade maybe within the next hour, depending on USD, how that closes. If you can get back above that level, I will consider looking to go long. If not, I'll look to go long down here. So I've got a feeling USD could shape up maybe today or maybe tomorrow. It depends which level it wants to react from. But I do see a trade coming pretty soon with USD. Hopefully, if NZD CAD and NZD CHF can retrace as well, and get some nice trades with that. USD CAD could provide a nice little trade maybe later in the week. If it breaks through those highs, I'll be more than happy to take some buys on that. Euro pound also looks pretty good, but I want a big pullback for that one. I'm not too sure if I'll get it. I am asking a lot from Euro pound to pull back into this level here, but also does look pretty good for some longs off the back of that. And also keep an eye on the JPY pairs, because we could still, reverse. We could still reverse from the JPY pairs. Use JPY looks like it look quite a good buy down at 130, 500. We've got first low, second low, third low there. So the price is kind of looking like it could be looking for reversals. Obviously broken out of this bearish trend here, as we can see, it's broken out of that. So looking for the retest of this resistance here. Does look like a lovely level to go long from. But yeah, it's up to price if it wants to pull back there. CHF JPY, again, it's broken through the resistance. It hasn't quite broken through key structure yet, so it hasn't really done it for me for the sell opportunities. Kind of tapping into this area right now, which produced this lovely bearish move here. So it's still a bit too early doors for me for CHF JPY to sell. Still do want to see something like this, and I'll probably hop on the next one. And CAD Yen as well, it could still provide some nice sells if it gets back underneath, but if it does go and break through some structure, then yeah, sure, I'll look to hop onto the next high low and take that trade. So JPY pairs, I do think could provide some nice longs. I was supposed to look at Euro Yen as well, actually. So yeah, Euro Yen, I do think they could provide some nice longs. Euro Yen is still reacting with this resistance here, so the longs are still not here yet until we break through this resistance at 142.750. So I do want price to go and break through that before I start considering some longs. I'm not looking for shorts anymore for Euro Yen. We've had a really nice bearish structure for the past couple months now. Actually more than that, since October. Had a really nice bearish trend here. You can see the consistent lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was a big fake out. Another one there, another one there, another one there. Then we had this kind of awful consolidation. That looks like price maybe breaking to the upside. I'm not too sure. It's too early to decipher, and it's also too messy to decipher as well. I don't know what price is doing, at this area here. It's breaking through the trend line, but it's struggling to break through resistance. So I need to see price, break through that resistance. Trend lines are very good technical tools for confluence, but I always use, support and resistance and structure to kind of signify direction and any levels and any areas that I want to buy and sell from. So this is still the kind of key bearish structure, keeping the market still technically bearish. We've got the impulse, pullback, continuation, new lows. Market still rebounding off that same level there. So if the buyers really want to reverse and push Euro Yen bullish, you do want to see price break through that, and that will tell us, okay, that the market probably is quite bullish, and we can probably see some nice buys on the retest of that structure for Euro Yen. So I am eyeing up some buys for Euro Yen above 142.5, 143. So above this level here, I would eye up some longs. Anything underneath that, I'm not too sure about. There might be some nice sells actually when we get back there. Could probably catch a nice reaction, because obviously this is still a pretty solid level to short from. But because we're breaking through that trend line now and starting to form some higher lows here, the shorts, potentially will probably be short-lived there. So it's not as high probability as I'm liking it. So yeah, Euro Yen buys look good above the level 143. Shorts look okay coming back into the resistance. I wouldn't hang on it too long, because the market is creeping up higher with these higher lows, and obviously it's breaking through the trend line there as well. So we do have some signs that the market may be looking to go long. But yeah, Euro Yen, don't have a clear-cut buy for this one until we break 143. Break 143, and we'll be looking to follow up momentum to the upside. Pound yen is a mess right now, so I'm not looking to do anything with that. AJY pretty much still a mess as well. It has obviously broken through this trend line here, which is a very long-standing trend line with like 7 or 8 rejections from. So it's a very strong trend line not to mess with. And it looks like the market's broken through that. This could be the correction of that breakout for another move back up again. So yeah, there might be some nice buys for AJY falling, to the upside. Maybe price might push back to highs again. So that one could be on the watch list, maybe later in the week or probably next week maybe. So yeah, yen pairs, I have been looking at a lot of shorts, just basically focusing on shorting the pair the first kind of month of the year. Now it could be time to actually start looking to sort that bias around and looking to long it. Not just yet, but maybe soon. Okay, so pound NZD, pound USD, we'll take a look. Then I'll move on to AUSD as well. Euro pound, we'll take a look. Euro CHF. What stock is that? It's not a stock. I'm not too sure what pair you're talking about, but I haven't looked at any stocks today. The symbol which I'm looking at is on the screen there. It's the watermark. Maybe I'll make that a little bit lighter. Wait, that's my crosshair. So yeah, maybe I'll make it a little bit lighter so you can see it. But yeah, it's on the back there. Natural gas, lovely old natty, ready to buy it when you dare to trade it. I mean, I've never traded natural gas before. I've analysed it for probably about the past maybe 5-6 months because Arturo, someone who used to be, maybe still is, who does regularly come in the stream, I think he only trades natural gas, so he requested that a bunch of times, so I started looking at it a lot more. But yeah, before he came on the stream, I don't think, maybe I looked at it a couple times, but yeah, I don't trade it personally, so I only know it from a technical perspective. I'll probably only be looking at it for the past 6 months, really. But yeah, it's not something that I trade. I'm not touching on the gas until it shows good signs of recovery. But yeah, I would want to long it in the future. Yeah, of course, that move to the downside, is asking for some buys. But yeah, a lot of impatient people will be looking to get into some long straight away, which is a big mistake. You definitely should provide liquidity for the market to go lower. But yeah. The reversal looks good. The farther it goes, the farther it goes to the downside, the more extended it is, the bigger the push we would expect to the upside. So buys will look good, but I wouldn't want to be the first person into the market with the natural gas buys. Are you bullish on it? Yeah, I'm not too sure what you're talking about, Lovro. I don't know what market you're talking about. Miko, Euro USD should be in a good level to buy. Yes, I do agree. I'll take a look on that one after I do Euro CHF and Euro Pound, AUSD, and some of the pound pairs. So yeah, like I said, for Pound NZD, we did have a really nice rejection off that level with the trendline confluence over there. So yeah, really nice rejection with that trendline there. Nice push to the downside. The market could be looking to come back into the support level and then maybe see some upside above that. I'm more focused on the longs for Pound NZD. So above here, break through the trend line, break through the resistance. I'll be more than happy to look to go long there. And obvious targets back to the high up there at 1.935. So yeah, Pound NZD, I'm waiting for some buys for this one. Hopefully you can get it later in the week. We've had a really big rejection, so we need to see a big push, big recovery back up again. But I'm focused on 1.915, buys above that, retest, and I'll look to go long for a push back to 1.93750, we'll call it 1.94. So yeah, Pound NZD is still pretty bearish. As you can see, still kind of moving correctly in this channel. If you're looking to sell it, you want to be selling it high up in these areas. This is too late to be entering at any trades, buys or longs. If you are looking to buy the pair, then down here around the 1.885 looks okay. But yeah, it sells up there, looks good. And I'm personally waiting for the breakout of the structure for push into those highs. So we'll need to stay patient because there's a long way to go. But that's what I'm looking at for Pound NZD. Pound USD, as we discussed, I'm looking for pullbacks. to the upside into 1.22. Market's moving quite correctly, so I do think we can see that pullback. There's a chance we might just roll over back down to the lows there. If so, yeah, no kind of trade for us there. But yeah, pound USD in terms of direction, looking for more downside and a pullback in some of those areas, and then a lower high to form somewhere and a push back down to that low. 1.22 is really where I want to be entering any shorts for pound USD. Anything below that is just a little bit too shallow for me in terms of retracement. So yeah, 1.22 looks good. 1.185 looks like the obvious target to have. If you start breaking through that, could open up the door to a lot more downside for pound. We've got this area here that could be where price wants to push into at 1.16. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that. But yeah, pound, I'm looking at 1.185, and my areas of entry is 1.22, even 1.23. But obviously that level comes first. So we'll see if we get the pullbacks. It could just fall over. It's completely up to pound USD at that point. So yeah, AUSD had a lovely reversal last week. Broke through some structure, lovely, through that low, and also through this low as well, as we can see here just about. So I'm more than happy to look for some sells here for AUSD now. We've had that high over there, next high, which is just about to take out the highs, and we completely dumped. So looking for us to kind of correct ourselves, coming back into that low there. I think we probably line up with the 50%, maybe just about. Yeah, we do come into that level there. So that is where my confluence lies for AUSD. A pullback into that area. And I'm looking at a lot more downside for this one. Again, I've been screaming for AUSD to roll over and come back down to these lows for quite some time. Ever since we were trading around here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, around there. I've been looking for AUSD to roll over and see that next lower high. As we can see, if we zoom out and look at the trend, the market's been very consistent with these lower highs. This was like a big fake out, lower high, lower high. I was looking for another one to form, for another push back down again. We didn't get it. The market still pushed higher, but now it's kind of coming to a vicinity where I do think that lower high could form. We've got this lovely support level here, 1, 2, 3. Now turn resistance. Nice little bearish engulfing last week, but just move out of the way. Nice bearish engulfing there. So I do think that could be the start of a big sell-off, and obviously just come into that trend line there too. So in terms of the higher time frames, the weekly time frame especially, AUSD is looking like a really good sell. And now that we've broken structure in the 4H, all I'm looking now is for a correction, that next lower high or that first lower high since the break of structure, and a big reversal for this one, a big reversal. So long term, I do see the market back down here. Obviously, I'm not going to look to trade it all the way back down there in one go. Feel free to anyone who wants to try it. The risk reward will probably be full. I don't know what I was about to say there. Through the roof. There we go. It will be through the roof. But I'm more than happy just to play it simple, play it safe to next areas. I'm more than happy to try and take 2, 3, don't know how many setups could get, 2, 3, 4 setups on the way down, rather than trying to do it in one go, because again, I could still be wrong. My analysis could still be wrong. It's not 100%. So yeah, AUSD I'm looking at 0.7-ish, 0.7 for some shorts, around that vicinity. Like we discussed before, lovely confluence around there, looking for price to pull back into that area, and that's where I'll take my shorts. Targets, we could be looking at keeping it really simple, back down to that low there, take your profit onto the next trade, or we could look to stretch the trade a little bit further, come back down to some of these areas here, leave a little bit more on the table, increase the risk reward a little bit there. Still nothing too crazy, but definitely something that we probably want to take partials on our way down to. And then if you do start to form like a really nice bearish trend, then we should get in on the next pullbacks as we go down, back down to these lows here. So yeah, that's the plan there for AUSD, long term and kind of short term. But 0.7 as well, start looking for entries. Anything in here is a little bit too shallow for myself. So if you can get a little bit of a bigger pullback. Euro pound, Euro CHF, we'll take a look. Then we'll move on to Euro USD 2. Euro USD, Eric looking for shorts at 1.07024, breaking retest level. I think I know what level you're talking about. We'll take a look at it shortly. DXY in support and resistance level with Fibonacci confirmation. Okay, Thebo, you're looking to expect some more downside for dollar, which means upside for some of the dollar pairs like Euro USD, Pound USD. I do think those pairs, do probably need some retracement. AUD does look a little bit bullish, obviously, because we had some AUD news last night, so it's kind of had a bit of a move. But pairs like Euro USD, it hasn't really seen much upside. Pound USD hasn't seen much upside. So yeah, maybe we could see some retracement. I'll take a look at the dollar in a second. I got to go, brother. See you tomorrow. Thanks for your time. No problem, Anus. Thank you so much for coming onto the stream, my friend. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Joseph, Miko, have you looked at your USD? If not, please do. I have looked at it. It's a pair on my watch list. Hopefully looking to get a trade, soon, maybe today or tomorrow for USD. Short USD to 1.68. I'm actually looking to long USD. 1.6878. I'll go take a look at that soon. But yeah, I'm actually focused on only looking to long USD at the moment. What is my bias on AUSD? Zark, we may good entry opportunity during news. We may. What news are you talking about, Zark? Okay, let me go take a look at Euro Pound. So yeah, Euro Pound, I'm looking at some longs. I do like the structure of Euro Pound. Looks like we finally had a big breakout here to the upside. We've had some really horrid consolidation for Euro Pound. But again, it looks like the market has finally broken to the upside here. So this tells me, okay, Euro Pound momentum is coming back. We might be seeing a bit of a bullish move, coming back to fill this wick here potentially. So we could be seeing a lot more upside for Euro Pound. And now this is when I actually start looking at the pair. In here, I was telling you guys, I'm not really looking at Euro Pound. It's a big mess. It's consolidating. I'm not really looking at it. But now we've got broken out, especially with good momentum. We formed some really nice higher lows doing so as well, 1 and 2. I'm more than happy now to be looking at some longs for this one. So I've got a couple of areas of interest. This is the first one. I'm not too keen on this level. It may be the level that actually drives price to the upside, which is why I've mapped it out. But I don't have too much confidence there. I've got a lot more confidence down here at that level rather than this level here. So it's up to Euro Pound which level it wants to react from. But in terms of structure and direction, I'm looking down here. But price may only retest 0.89 before they get the continuation. But I've seen some lovely momentum here. Thank you so much, Zark, for subscribing. Seen some lovely momentum here, so I'm definitely focused on the longs here for Euro Pound. 0.89 kind of first level of entry, first area of interest, and the second, which is one I do prefer, 0.88400 down here. So that's kind of the plan for Euro Pound. Just want to see some pullbacks for this one. We've had a big breakout outside the big consolidation. 4H, we're creating some nice higher highs and higher lows. So we just want to look for a correction to pull that momentum back up again. Nothing too crazy. And hopefully we can get some nice longs later on. Okay, so I'll take a look at EURC Chef. I'll move on to Euro USD, I believe. Yeah, Euro USD. And then we'll have a look at the DXY. I'll go for USD as well. And yeah, AUSD, I'm looking for shorts. I'm only looking for shorts on AUSD. That is definitely my bias. Yeah, it's a short into your long. Oh, okay, so a retest of that resistance. Okay, it's the first level to go short into that level. So yeah, that could be an opportunity there as well. Of course, like for me, I'm only focused on long in the pair, so it's not really something for me. Maybe in the lower time frames, you could probably get a decent risk to reward there. But yeah, for me, I want price to either reject the level, like you said, and come back down for the longs here, or just get back above the level. I'll be expecting price to rally to the upside. So that's what I'm focused on, here and here. But yeah, if you are looking at sells, it's not a bad opportunity. The market is obviously making lower lows in the lower time frames, and it's obviously just broken through a key high here, which will obviously be acting as resistance. So there might be some nice shorts there. I'd wait for some confirmation. It's a little bit too early days. Even in the 15-minute price is still pushing quite bullish. But yeah, if we do see some rejection there could be some nice shorts on the lower time frames. But yeah, for me, I'll be focused on the longs for now. Okay, so EUR/CHF. So yeah, EUR/CHF. I was looking at that one. Thank you so much. Ooh, Elazar. Is that right? Elazar. Probably pronounced that wrong, but thank you so much for subscribing. Really do appreciate it. So yeah, EUR/CHF. I'm looking at some longs for this one, but I've kind of backed away because it's very, very corrective setup, and it's not looking as good as it was last week. So last week we had a really nice sell-off. Excuse me. Last week had a really nice sell-off with this bearish move here. I was hoping that could continue into that level, and then I'll buy it to the upside. But we had this whole kind of correction nonsense here, and now the market's come there again. So what this means is that yes, we are still at that same place where the confluence is strong, looking for a good buy opportunity. But it means that there's a lot more places where sellers can look to push price against me. You've got the highs there, as we can see. Now you've even got this area here. The price could come up again and just sell off there. So it was a pair on my watch list for EUR/CHF last week. It wasn't at the top of my watch list, but I knew price did get there for some good momentum and a good entry signal. I'll be more than happy to go long on the pair. But as of right now, we've had this kind of corrective push to the downside. There's a big level of support here, which I said sellers would be looking at, looking for a break and retest to push that back down again. So it's not as good as it was looking at coming into the week. And like I said, there are other pairs that look a lot better to trade. So I'd rather just focus on those pairs rather than try and see if I can sneak a trade on this one. Again, it's still a good opportunity. There's still good confluence here. The only negative thing about this trade opportunity is that we've got levels here where sellers might want to push the trade against us. So it's a trade that you probably want to be a bit more aggressive on with your TP and a bit more aggressive with taking partials, because there's a chance that price could come up, come straight back down, or maybe push a little bit higher, then come straight back down as well. Best case scenario, kind of fly to the upside, maybe back to that resistance there. But there's still a lot of rejection here for all of these wicks that tell us that we most likely will form another lower high at some point and come back down again. So the buys look good, but they do look like they might be short-lived just because there's so many obstacles in our way. So yeah, keep an eye out for EUR/CHF. If you are looking for longs, we are seeing some nice wicks coming into this area. So if you do see nice bullish engulfing on the hourly, that could be a nice entry confirmation. But yeah, we are coming to some resistance, which is not too far away. So that's what I don't like about the trade opportunity. But in terms of the location and the confluence, it does look good. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro Swiss. Okay, so I'm moving to Euro USD and DXY. I'll take a look at Euro USD in a bit more detail as well. Tony Gold, what is up? What is up, Grand Rising? Do you think the news power speech will affect Bitcoin also? Typically, dollar does affect Bitcoin. We have seen it not affect too much. Like if you look at NFP last week, where's Bitcoin? There we go. So we had NFP last week, which we saw a lot of dollar strength, and we saw all the dollar pairs react to that, even pairs which are not really that linked to dollar, still react quite aggressively. But Bitcoin didn't react that much. Which is surprising. We saw a lot of dollar strength. You would expect to see some downside for Bitcoin. We saw a little bit, but it's minuscule. So I'm not too sure. Anymore. If this was like a year ago, we did see dollar, kind of really impact the way Bitcoin moves. If dollar was really, really strong, you would probably be seeing Bitcoin be heading to the downside and vice versa. But Bitcoin's kind of losing some synchronicity with the dollar at the moment. So an event like NFP, which really, caused a lot of momentum across the board, across many markets, Bitcoin almost nothing from it. Bitcoin almost nothing. So I would expect to see some type of reaction, logically, because Bitcoin, is linked to the dollar BTC USD. So I would expect to see some type of reaction, but I'm not too sure if we'll get it, or if it is, it could be very, very small. So yeah, That's kind of my verdict on that. You know, naturally yes, but it may be very small if nothing. Anyway, so Euro USD. Yeah, so Euro USD is at a nice buy zone. Like I did say, coming into the week, this is a level that could provide some nice buy opportunities. I think Eric said he's looking to short up at the retest of this level here, maybe, or maybe some different level, I'm not too sure. But yeah, Euro USD, I still do have a bullish bias based on this higher time frame structure. If I do zoom out here, you can see we are still forming these higher lows. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We are still, forming these consecutive higher lows. However, with this bullish move here, I do think the market is likely to eventually reverse to the downside. And if I do zoom out and go in the monthly time frame, you can see we are, trading at this key support level, which could provide a lower high to the downside. You can see the market is still forming these lower highs. Could see another one there. So long term, I'm still definitely bearish on Euro USD. Don't let this bullish move over the past couple of months, distract you from what's happened from the past, year or so. The market has been absolutely plummeting to the downside, taking out very key lows here for Euro. This here most likely is just another pullback. So I do expect to see Euro USD drop to the downside again shortly, but it hasn't broken through that higher time frame structure yet. So when it does, that's when I'll start looking for some shorts on Euro USD. I do think we'll probably see some nice short-term buys here. The emphasis is in the short term. So I do think coming into this vicinity here, retesting some key structure, we could see a temporary bounce to the upside. If DXY wants to retrace as well, but I wouldn't push it further than that level really. So 1.08074 looks like a good little level to take some profit at, and then probably back away or just exit the trade completely or something. At least stop loss to break even, because this is a strong level which obviously provided this strong rally to the upside, and we broke through a lot of momentum. So there will be some sellers sitting here looking to take price back down again. So yeah, with Euro USD, I have to say I'm extremely bearish on the higher time frames, but 4H here, which is the time frame I focus, to map out my structure of what the market is currently doing. I am focused on these longs here. So Euro USD, sorry. I do think buys here. If you see a bit more rejection around here, maybe some wicks hit to the downside would be nice. I do think we can probably see a nice little buy opportunity, 1.08. Then there could be some nice sells back down again from that same level after some confirmation, of course. Eric's looking to short from 1.07024. 07024. Okay, so you're looking to short from, let me actually go into the lower time frames. 07024. Wow, looking to short. Okay, so I think you meant longs. Because 07024 is right down here. So longs is probably what you meant. If you meant shorts there, yeah, it's looking a little bit dodgy for some shorts down there. But okay, maybe if you're looking for shorts on the break and retest of that low, I suppose that can make sense there. From a low time frame, point of view, a break and retest of that low, maybe, but it's just trading in a strong vicinity of confluence on the 4H for buyers. We've got a key fib level, 0.618, we've got a key trend line and a key level support resistance. And the fact that the market's quite overextended, I probably wouldn't be looking for the break and retest of that low there, unless we rip to the downside with a lot of momentum. If we rip to the downside with a lot of momentum, then yeah, the shorts could look good, but a breakout like that with wicks is not really something that motivates me to take that break and retest there, especially when we're trading in an area of value in the higher time frame. So yeah, I think you meant longs. If you did mean shorts, it's not the best opportunity. Obviously, if you got a plan based on that, then obviously trade your plan. That's the most important thing. But I would wait for a bigger pullback before shorting, or at least let price break through this area of some momentum. Then on the retest, it could provide a much better trade. Okay, DXY I move on to next. Okay, so yeah, DXY coming into a key level of resistance there. So yeah, DXY is in a key area. We've obviously broken through some key structure. 2 key points here. One. 1 and 2. So the market has broken through both of those areas. So we do expect to see some type of pullback. The market is still in this kind of bearish downtrend, as we can see here. So similar to Euro USD, we are still kind of in this descending channel here. So the market still needs a little bit more upside to really get that reversal in. Same thing with Euro USD, kind of do need to see a little bit more downside, to really get that reversal, in before we can really say, okay, the structure is completely bearish right now, at least on the 4H time frame anyway. Yes, on the low time frames it might be, bearish, but 4H is where I focus my attention on. So the DXY hasn't quite come out the clear yet. It's broken through some key areas here, which could maybe provide some nice buys back down here. So back down here, then maybe could be a buy in that retest. But yeah, unless DXY just breaks through that, then the buys are really on, and then we could probably see a big move up. Because if you do zoom out, similar to Euro USD, the DXY is also trading in a very key level of broken resistance, turn support. So the reversal could still be on. But we're not quite out the woods yet, and there probably will be some sellers stepping into the market at these areas. Obviously, you've got the key trend line coming in, and obviously a key level as well. So naturally speaking, if the market can hold this, I do think we can probably see some downside for the DXY, which does help us out for some retracement for some of the pound pairs, AUD pairs, Euro USD as well. Probably see some upside there. Gold and silver, I'm looking for some pullbacks for these guys. So hopefully we can see some upside for that sake. But yeah, DXY is not quite out the woods yet. So we're definitely at a key level of resistance, which I'm eager to see what we do next for DXY. Okay, so coming up to the last couple minutes of the stream. I will be live again tomorrow, guys, so I do hope to see everyone there. Be there, be square. I will go through a couple more pairs before I do wrap things up. So where am I? So yeah, just did Euro USD. I'll go through USD since I'm looking to trade that one, and I'll go through US 100. I'll go through silver as well because I'm also looking to trade silver. So USD, US 100 and silver. So USD I'm looking to buy. Ooh, that's looking like a potential long opportunity there. If you can close back above that level, I'll look to probably enter that trade in the next 30 seconds or so. So yeah, that could be a nice entry there. Probably need to see a little bit more momentum though. It's pulling back there. So that is obviously why we wait for candle closures, by the way. Never do an open candle unless you've got some kind of order-based strategy. But if you use candlestick patterns, always wait for candlestick closures. There've been so many times in the past where I've just been done dirty just by entering like 5 minutes too early and the candle pulls back. Okay, so about to close. So yeah, just underneath the level, So yeah, USD I'm still looking to long, but I won't be entering on that. If you can get another candle to the upside, I don't know, it's coming into that area there. Unless it's a strong candle, then I'll consider going long. If it's another weak kind of candle closing, then I might just sit back and wait for things to develop a little bit further. And we're still below the resistance. We could still actually push back down to this support level actually, and still actually see a buy there. So USD is not quite out of the woods yet, but I'm only looking to long this guy. So if I can see a candle closure back above with good momentum, I'll look to enter above 1.69660. Or if we do come back down and test this level, 1.68846, I'll be more than happy to go long there. Actually, I do prefer this level over that. Risk rewards better, and just a better area of confidence anyway. So hopefully we can come back down, but I'll be keeping an eye on USD, see how the next few 1 hour candles close. But yeah, I'm looking for some longs back to highs and actually all the way back up to these highs eventually. So I do expect a lot more upside for this one. But need to get the entry first. So yeah, US 100, I haven't actually looked at this one today. But yeah, similar to US 500, which is looking for pullbacks and more upside basically. Looking for the retest of this structure here. If the market can pull back onto that level, it's consolidating right now, similar to the S&P. So I said if you can break out this consolidation here to the downside, because there will be some stop losses just underneath us here. Let's see if we can go and take out those stop losses you know, just underneath us, and then get the move to the key level, and then get the move to the upside. We've got a lovely confluence in this area. As we can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5. So I do really like this trend line here, and we'll look for another continuation, probably 0.618 fib from that prior low too, as we can see. So S&P and US 100 pretty much giving us the same setup pretty much twice, both consolidating just above some key areas of confluence. Let's see if we can get some moves into those levels for the buys. And last but not least, we'll go over silver. So yeah, silver, I'm short biased on that one. It hasn't retraced enough for me to actually go short. I'm looking for the retest of this structure here. We had a really big consolidation here, broke to the downside with a lot of momentum. So if we come back and retest this level, I'll be more than happy to short. It could be seeing some pullbacks. We just spoke about DXY coming to a very key level where we might see some sellers step back in and see some downside, because obviously we're coming to a key place in that channel and a key place of that support resistance. So we might see some downside for the DXY, which could help silver retrace, which is what I'm looking for. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, to be fair. So yeah, I'm hopefully we can get a move back to 23.18, and then from up there I'll look to set it back down again. Target wise, we're looking at that support level as the first target, then this level here is the second target there. But yeah, we just had a big consolidation. We broke out of key momentum. All I'm looking to do is a very simple setup. All I'm looking to do is just follow that momentum on a good retracement, and 23.2 is the level I'm looking at those shorts. So yeah, that's kind of my analysis going forward for silver. So yeah, guys, that brings us to the end of the stream. Thank you so much for coming onto the stream and staying with me. If you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to leave a like before you leave, and subscribe as well if you are enjoying the content. If you're new, again, feel free to subscribe if you did enjoy the content. I am live every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. UK time to 12 p.m. UK time. So those 2 hours as well, I'm live from every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And also I do post analysis during the weekend and videos on Friday as well. So if you like what you're seeing, feel free to subscribe. And if you're going to subscribe as well, make sure you hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But thank you so much, guys, for coming onto the stream. USD, I will be keeping a close eye on this guy, see if I can get any entries from one of these two levels. If I do, I'll let you guys know in my Telegram channel, so check it out. It's in the description below, Telegram group and the Telegram channel. But besides from that, guys, thank you so much for coming onto the stream, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Oh.